Which is better, the Samsung Galaxy A21 or the Samsung Galaxy A21s? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my comparison between the Samsung Galaxy A21 and the Samsung Galaxy A21s. Now, it's a bit unusual that Samsung decided to launch both of these phones at exactly the same time in June of 2020, because typically the S variant of whatever A series phone comes out is usually launched about 6 months later. So this is very unusual to get both the regular and the S model at pretty much the exact same time. Now, my theory is that the A21 is meant to be more for the US market, whereas the A21s is meant more for global markets. Now, that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the A21 launched GSM unlocked internationally in a matter of time. Right now, the A21 is being offered at a variety of different US carriers. But the good news though is that if you are using a GSM carrier like AT&T or T-Mobile, then you're going to be able to use either of these phones with no issues at all, especially if you buy either of them factory unlocked. Now, definitely take a look at the links in the video description to see the most up-to-date pricing for both of these phones. Now, despite these phones appearing to be very similar, they actually have a decent amount of differences, so I'm really looking forward to going over that in this video. The first thing that I want to mention is the display size. Now, that's one area where they both have that in common. Now, the A21 and A21s both feature a 6.5-inch display. Now, as far as the display technology, according to GSM Arena, the A21 features an IPS LCD display, whereas the A21s has a PLS TFT. Now, I also heard some people mention that the A21 has a TFT display and it's not IPS LCD. And let me know if you know for sure in the comment section below. I really have no place to go to find out for sure, so let me know. But for the purpose of this comparison, I'll just go off of the way these displays look just by looking at them. And in general, in my opinion, it seems like the A21s does feature the brighter display of the two. I do have the brightness for both phones cranked up to 100%. Now, both displays are 720p. We're getting the same PPI of 270. We're getting a 20:9 aspect ratio with both phones. So they both feature a narrow but tall form factor, which is pretty common with a lot of devices that are being launched this year. Now, the devices do actually feature a different screen-to-body ratio. So the A21 features a 79.3% screen-to-body ratio compared to an 82.8% screen-to-body ratio with the A21s. So you can actually see at the bottom of these two phones, the A21s actually has a little bit of a smaller bottom bezel. So that is very interesting. And also on the top of both phones, it seems like the A21 also features a thicker bezel as well. So there are definitely some differences here with the actual physical design of these two phones. Now, up top here, both devices feature a hole punch for the front-facing camera situated off to the top left of the phones, and both cameras are 13 megapixels. Now, definitely take a look at my dedicated review videos for both phones to see exactly what the photo and video quality looks like from all the cameras. Now, the A21 features 32 gigabytes of internal storage with microSD card expansion, and the A21s features twice the amount of internal storage with 64 gigs with microSD card expansion. Now, neither of these phones feature wireless charging, but they both do have fingerprint sensors on the back. So we'll give that a try right now. Let's start with the A21. Okay, very quick. We'll do the A21s now, and that was very fast as well. Now, in addition to having the fingerprint sensors on the rear, both phones also feature face unlock, so that's really nice to have. Now, also on the back side of both phones are the camera modules. Now, there are some pretty big differences here when it comes to the cameras. Now, the Samsung Galaxy A21 features a 16 megapixel main camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera, and a 2 megapixel macro camera, compared to the A21s, which features a 48 megapixel main camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide, a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera, and a 2 megapixel macro. So there's really two main differences as far as the cameras go with these two phones. Essentially, we're getting a higher megapixel count with the A21s, and the A21s also features a rectangular camera module compared to more of a beanpod design with the A21. Now with both phones, we are getting portrait mode with both the front and rear cameras, so that is really nice. Now internally, there's also some very big differences. So with the Samsung Galaxy A21, we have 3 gigabytes of RAM, and we have 4 gigs of RAM with the A21s. And then the A21 features the MediaTek Helio P35, whereas the A21s has the Samsung Exynos 850. So I did run benchmark tests with both phones, and we'll check that out right now. We'll let this load here. And you can see that there definitely is a bit of a difference. So the A21 features a score of 104,432, whereas with the A21s, we have an overall score of 124,538. So yeah, definitely a big difference there, and I'm definitely looking forward to doing a speed test comparison side by side a little bit later on in the video. Now with both of these devices, video recording does max out at 1080p, and that's to be expected for phones in this price range, so not really a huge issue there. We do have some pretty big differences when it comes to the battery capacity though. So the A21 features a beefy 4,000 mAh internal battery, but we're getting an even bigger battery with the A21s at 5,000 mAh. Now both phones feature 15 watt fast charging compatibility, so that is very awesome. Now the software on these devices is pretty much exactly the same. Now you can see on the A21, we do have Microsoft apps pre-installed. Another difference with the A21, at least for this variant, which I bought from Metro by T-Mobile, is that it does feature Bixby, and there is no Bixby to be found with the A21s. Now that could be different depending on where you buy your A21. It could also be different based on the carrier as well. So definitely make sure to double check that. And that same thing applies to NFC. So the Metro by T-Mobile variant of the A21 does have NFC. But to my understanding, there is no variant at all of the A21s where we do get NFC. So if you do want NFC, you're gonna have to go for the A21 out of these two phones. But now that we've talked about the major specifications of these two devices, let's take a closer look at the hardware. So I already talked a lot about the front panels here on both phones, so I'm not gonna go too much further into that. But you can see, taking a look at the left side of the two devices, they both feature just the slot for the microSD card and SIM card. Then on the right, they both have the volume button and the power button. Then on the top, they both have the noise canceling microphone. And then on the bottom, they both have 3.5mm headphone jack, they both have the microphone, they both have the speaker, and they both have the USB-C port for charging and data transfer. So overall, very nice amenities there. Nice to see that we are getting USB-C with both phones, which I would expect considering that the A20 from last year also had USB-C. And then taking a look at the rear of both phones, we have kind of a piano black finish here with the A21, and then the A21s features this blue color with kind of a rainbow tint to it. So I think both phones do look good. I do kind of prefer the A21s. I think it looks nicer. But both phones do pick up a lot of fingerprints, that is for sure. Let's now do a speed test comparison between these two phones. So we're gonna start by pulling up the camera apps on both phones. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like the A21 was first at pulling up the camera app. Let's now go to Google Chrome on both phones. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like the A21 was a little bit quicker as well, but not a big difference between the two phones with pulling up Chrome. Let's now go to yahoo.com. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like in that test, the A21 was quicker at pulling up Yahoo. Let's now go to Engadget. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like Engadget is also quicker to load here with the A21. The video popped up a little bit quicker as well. And yeah, in general, I would say the A21 was quicker at pulling up Engadget. Scrolling is smooth on both phones. Seems like it's pretty much close to equal here. Maybe a little bit smoother on the A21s, and that could be due to the extra gigabyte of RAM. So in conclusion, which one of these devices is the better option? Well, I would say that the A21s is pretty much better in every single way. However, in the side-by-side speed test comparison, it did seem like the A21 maybe was a little bit faster, if not about equal. But still, despite that, I would still go with the A21s if I had to pick one of the two. for multiple reasons. The first reason is that the display appears to be better with the A21s. Seems a little bit brighter overall. The second reason is that we get double the amount of internal storage with the A21s, so I definitely value that. The third reason is that we get a higher megapixel count for the main camera with the A21s at 48 megapixels compared to the A21. We get an extra gigabyte of RAM with the A21s, and then finally we get a higher capacity battery with the A21s. So in general, I don't really see a situation where the A21 would be a better choice than the A21s unless you are able to get the A21 at a really good deal through your carrier. Now that is the main downside for the A21s, is that the phone is not being offered by any carriers, so they're not going to be able to subsidize the phone with any cool deals or promotions. So if you do want to get the A21s, your only option is to get it factory unlocked. So for some people, that's not an issue. And it does seem like the phone is being offered pretty affordably factory unlocked as well, which is very nice. Whereas it seems like the A21 will actually be more expensive when it's offered factory unlocked. So that's very interesting. But again, to see the most up-to-date pricing, take a look at the links in the video description. But I hope you enjoyed this comparison between the Samsung Galaxy A21 versus the Samsung Galaxy A21s. My name is Kevin, give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.